Okay, folks, here we go. Okay, we're going to be talking about the Scottish and Fife house price statistics for May 2022. Now, they were just released yesterday by the National Statistical Offices. Now, what we've seen, we'll cover Scotland in itself and we'll look at economic statements as well. What we've seen so far is the average price in Scotland has moved up to £187,517 as of the end of May, 11.2% increase year on year. The monthly change is still 1.1% improvement increase. So it's still going up the way just right now. We'll jump all these situations there. We'll talk about annual house prices right now, but we'll just briefly talk about the Scotland's house prices as they've increased. It's non-seasonally adjusted, in other words, they adjust it for figures and all the rest of it. And it seems to be going in the right direction. Now, provisional estimate for March 1922, Scottish detached houses show the largest increase. That's actually quite interesting. In Scotland, detached houses showed the largest increase out of all the property types, rising by 13.6% in the year to May 2022. A detached house in Scotland, on average, will cost £332,000. The lowest annual change of all property price types was actually flats and maisonettes. Now, this is maisonette is basically a flat, but it's over 2 levels on the upper landing, on the first floor upwards. Now, they increased by 8.2%. I mean, it talks about the lowest annual change in property prices, but it's 8.2%. Wow, it's still going up the way. So that was year on year till May. So the average price in Scotland for a flat or a maisonette property is 129,000. The largest growth was Argyll and Bute, where prices have actually increased 18.7%. God, that's an eye-watering amount in the year. So Argyll and Bute is actually the average price of 185,000 now. And the lowest annual price growth to the year was Inverclyde. Average prices decreased by the year by 0.1% to 113,000. As with all other indicators, the housing market, which typically fluctuates from month to month, it's important not to put too much emphasis and weight on this 1 month's set of housing statistics. So what is the annual price change over the last 5 years? Let's take a look at a wee graph here. Here we are right here. In terms of annual price change, and this will be reflected on average right across Fife as well. So you can see from May 2018, it's you can watch my arrow going there, got to May 2020, and then almost like I need another house. Lockdown came in, and I need another house. I need a garden. I need I need an outside pub and all the rest of it. And that's kind of what boomed the market and the shortage of supply as well. And everybody having that idea they could work from home now, and they potentially have realised that they need a bigger living accommodation to accommodate their needs because they were constantly in the house for almost about a year or a year and a half. So that's where the house prices are in terms of that. Now, the peak of the market in Scotland was round about over 14%. You can see there at the top here, and it has dropped down to that 11.2%. But hey, we're still 11.2%. So I can't see how that could be a bad thing. So let's talk about Scotland average prices, as I said, compared to an increase of the 14.7%, which was in April 2022. Annual price change for local authority by Scotland. Well, let's look at Fife, actually. Let's look at Fife. And we're going to look at some annual price changes on Fife and see where we are with that. Now, in Fife itself, let me scroll this screen because I usually cut all this out, but here we go. So here we are. Right here, right in this bit right here, the average price in Fife is now £166,468 for the average price of a property in Fife. It's still affordable. You know, average price in terms of average salary is round about £30,000. So if we take 166, I'll just get my calculator out, 166, 486 divided by 30,000. Still equals 5.55 times. That is still very affordable in economic terms from previous history and historical information. Right across Scotland, the average salary is still round about what it is in Fife, and yet their average price to buy is 187,517 divided by 30,000 is 6.25 times. So again, Fife is very, very affordable to buy in. Last year, and you can see the increase last year, it was 146,605. That's a 13.5% increase year on year. Now, I was getting asked about this about Fife house prices, right? Even though Fife house prices, if they were to go down a wee bit, still year on year, you will see towards the end of the year, they'll probably still be going up, if that makes sense, because if you've got the negatives coming through and you go down to 6%, they've still raised by the end of the year up 6% year on year. So we kind of think it'll slow down. What we've got just now, and what I just want to explain, there's a lot more supply, and you see the weekly updates are due on a Sunday night at 7 o'clock live. We've got a lot more supply in the Fife market coming on, and we have less properties actually selling. So it's now turning from it's now turning a wee bit. I mean, it's a constant sellers market at 90% versus 10% buyers market. We're thinking it's moving more to a 70% sellers market to a 30% buyers market because there's a bit more supply coming on. Not a whole load of supply, but we expect that maybe just to peter off a wee bit. It could possibly because of the economic situation with the inflation, with the utility prices will raise about 64% in September. Just bear that in mind. Utility prices will rise by 64% in September. That's what Mark Lewis is saying on his blog and his vlog. So just bear that in mind as well. So that might actually have an implication later on in the housing market. But for now, we're taking a wee bit longer to sell. There's more properties coming into the market. We've gone from the average of 4 weeks to sell. This is all the agents across Fife to an average of about 6 weeks to sell. So when you always get your friends saying, oh, it's going to sell no bother and you should sell it in 1 day, that possibly might not be possible now. Oh, you're going to get X amount over the home report. You're going to get 20%, 30%, 40%. Well, that's all factored in now because all these statements were on last year and these increases were actually inbuilt into it. So when the new home reports got done, these amounts that everybody was getting over was in the new home reports. So that's all been built into the new prices coming onto the market right now. So, you know, you can't really sustain a constant extra of 10 and 15 and 20% and 30% all the time. It's kind of starting to level off. So be realistic about what you're getting in terms of your price point. There's people out there saying, I'm not going to sell my house unless it's 20% more. It's like, but that 20% was factored in last year. You can't expect it to get every single year because every single year it's going up 20%. So that means the market's going up 20%, but you're only at 13.6% on average over the last year. So why would you expect to get 20 or 30? So that's the point today. I think the words are, or what I would say is be more realistic about what you're prepared to accept. Please give a wee bit of time for your property to get some traction and get people interested because you're competing against more properties as well. And it's kind of just like the market just now is like you're on the motorway. If you've ever had this before, most drivers have had this before. But you come to the motorway, you're sitting in a traffic jam for the next 3 miles and 2 hours to get 3 miles. You get to the end of the traffic jam and you go, why was there a traffic jam? What was all that about? It's like there's no reason why there should be a traffic jam, and it's because everybody got into that queue at once from different areas, from we side slips and we side roads and stuff like that. So everybody came in at once and ran to it. Have you ever watched Tom and Jerry, where the 2 mice run for the hole at the same time and they get stuck? That's effectively what's happening in the short-term period in the Fife property market right now. So bide your time, hold on, it's going to be okay. We're just going to level off and we're going fine. And that's it, guys. That's it. I'm off to St. Monans just now to see someone. And until next time, I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties TV.